A word from your professor.
Hello, everyone. This is your professor. Happy October. I hope everyone is doing great. Wanted to tell you about a couple things, and please watch until the end of the video. And I promise I won't waste your time, but you need to watch to the end. I'm going to cover a lot of important stuff. It won't be much, but it's important. So I wanted to talk to you first about the gradebook debacle. It's my first time using this publisher, and I'm sorry that there are so many problems with the gradebook. And I can tell you part of the problem is they, I think, are used to teachers doing auto grading, so it automatically grades, like multiple choice quizzes, that kind of thing. I'm not doing that. I love to read what you say and your reaction and response to. So I read all the stuff. So I'm manually grading instead of having stuff auto graded. That kind of threw them for a loop because at first they were given full credit when you turned in an assignment. It went ahead and gave you 25 points, but it's like, well, I didn't want that either because that could lead to a different kind of confusion. So I said, can we just not have a grade there? I'll go in and grade it myself because that's what I'm doing. And then they said they put zeros there. So it's a weird placeholder if you ask me. And I complained about it and they said that they can't change it. So if we had a lot of those quizzes left in the class, I would just transfer everything over to Blackboard's gradebook and take care of the problem like that. However, we're almost done with the quizzes in the class. More on that in a minute. But we're almost done with that part of the class. And so it seems that it'd be a lot of work for nothing. I'll just keep responding to when you're concerned. Reach out to me. Do I have a 0 because you haven't graded it yet? Or did I do something wrong? But go ahead and know that if I give you a 0 because you didn't answer the question, like you did something totally off topic or whatever, I would tell you, I would email you, reach out to you and say, you didn't, you need to try again. I would never just give you a 0 and move on. The only time I give zeros is for work that's not submitted. And, I'm almost always going to say yes if you ask if you can submit something late. I like to be flexible when people reach out. So the zeros are such a pain. I'm sorry about that. But please don't submit things several times because that creates another problem. So here's what I'm going to do. We're coming up on midterm. So they like us to give midterm grades. So that's a good time for me to go back and just make sure I've graded everything that has been submitted to me. I'll let you know when I do this. I'm going to, at some point, just buckle down and go catch up on the little bit of grading I have to do still, and then go back and just double check everybody's grades for every assignment. And then I will reach out to people who are missing work and tell you that you need to submit X, Y, and Z. So we are coming up on part 4 of the class. Well, part 3 is where you choose which one of the AI problems you want to focus on for the rest of the semester, your major for the semester. Remember, all the semester leads to that proposal. So what we've been doing this whole time, learning how to use AI for writing assistance, yes, but all of that has been headed toward learning about the problems of AI, choosing one of those problems, which you're about to do, and then focusing on that problem for the rest of your semester, and making it sort of your expertise, the thing you're diving into. So that's part 4, is where you dive into whatever your chosen problem is out of the 5. And so this confuses people sometimes. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because they're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in part 4. There's some quizzes to do in there. The last of the quizzes will be in part 4. There are some quizzes to do, and they're like you've been doing, just responses. But people get confused beyond that. They think that they just do the quizzes, they've done what they're supposed to do. Well, part 4 is focused on research. And there's only so many ways you can tie research to a grade. I mean, I can't follow you like on your computer and see what you've looked up and watch you read and give you an A. So researching is one of those things. It's hard to assess with a grade. So that means it's hard to put a deadline on it that you can enforce. I can't say you have to have a deadline for research and you get a grade for meeting that deadline, again, because how am I going to know if you researched? So part 4 is going to take some self-starting on your part. All it is researching. And if you look in the textbook, there's plenty of information about how to research. There's tips on researching your particular topics. There's a long period of time dedicated to part 4. And sometimes people take those couple of quizzes or whatever, and they're like, well, is that it? No, this is a research time for you. So this stretch of time we call part 4 on Blackboard is for you to read about research in the textbook. It's all listed in part 4. To read about research, to read about how to do research, to give you some tips on doing specific research for your problem. So that's what the focus is for part 4, is for you to research and become educated on your topic. A lot of people don't know this, but in part of being convincing starts before you ever write your proposal. Remember, in your proposal, you're going to try to offer a solution to an AI problem and defend that solution, meaning show that it will work. And part of that kind of convincingness starts well before you do any writing. It starts with becoming informed on your topic. If you think about it, it's pretty simple. Even in, like, if you're just at a party arguing with somebody, if they sound like they don't know what they're talking about and haven't done their homework and aren't informed on whatever issue you're arguing about, it's easy to just dismiss them. It's kind of a relief, actually, when somebody lets you know they don't know what they're talking about. Then you go, oh, you're just full of it. Okay, I don't need to listen to you anymore. And that's what your reader will do if it seems like you are not informed on your topic. And that means informed about every aspect of your topic. Some people think that research is just about looking for proof of what you're trying to say. And sure, that's great if you can find it. But actually, research is about more than that. It's about understanding all aspects of the topic. So, in other words, for instance, understanding what people believe who disagree with you about your proposal, or who would disagree with you if you said to them, oh, here's how we solve this problem. And they would go, I don't think so because of this, this, and this. Well, don't ignore the this, and this that they would say. That's the stuff you want to focus on. You want to learn about it. How better to shoot down an idea than to understand it well, right? So it helps you later on when you're writing your proposal. It helps you to have things to say and to sound like you know what you're talking about, which increases the effectiveness and convincingness of your argument, which is what you're essentially making here. You're making an argument. You'll be making an argument when you write the paper on how to solve this problem that you've chosen to focus on. So to do that, you've got to be informed on the topic. That means learning all you can. And I give you tips for how to do that in the book. Now, if you've watched till the end, like I requested, thank you. And to reward you, I would like to give you some points. So to get this quiz grade, just email me and tell me the last TV show you watched that you thought was really good or really bad, if you watched something that was awful. Or if you don't watch TV, tell me the last movie you watched or the last book you read that was excellent or really terrible, like one extreme or another. Thank you. And have a great day. And as always, please reach out if you have any questions. You are never bothering me. Do not suffer in silence. Let me hear from you.